and things like NFTs, which people think of as fun little doodles on computers. But in my opinion, it is a global proof of ownership, which has immense power. And again, I think that will change how coffee is traded. And then you have the big one that is constantly mentioned, which is AI. And AI, for better or worse, it will improve efficiencies. People may lose their work, but new work opportunities may appear. But with AI, I can take a cup of green coffee, a little puck of it, put it in a machine, does spectral analysis, and it tells me the grade pretty accurately.
If the work we're doing here at Map It Forward has helped you navigate the challenges of the coffee crisis and you've been wondering how you can support us, here are a few ways. You can advertise on the podcast. You can hire us as your business advisors, join one of the 3 tiers on our Patreon community, or become a paid premium subscriber on YouTube. And if financial support isn't possible right now, that's totally fine. You can still help us out by subscribing to this podcast wherever you're listening to it. You can leave us a comment or a rating on this episode, and you can share this episode with your friends. Every bit of support helps us keep creating this kind of content for the coffee industry. Thank you for being a part of our community, and you can find all the relevant links in the show notes. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 4 of a really fantastic 5-part series with Matthew Thornton from Arkena Coffee Market in Ethiopia. We are talking about responsible direct trade coffee relationships. And in this episode, we're talking about technology. Specifically, how is technology changing the way that coffee is being traded? So Matthew, how is technology playing a role in all of that?
Oh, that is a rabbit hole. Looks like, and but technology is changing everything.
Yeah.
Everything we look at, honestly, like, so it changes how we connect. It's fueling globalization, and it changes how we view the world, like what is possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes down to coffee more specifically, it might be good to actually dig into some of the different tech functionalities or rough definitions of particular tech. For example, there's farm tech, and farm tech gives insights about the farm to farmers, localized insights to help them improve yields or maximize quality. You have FinTech or finance tech, which can help with access to loans, dispersing payments. You have usability tech, which tracks purchases and movements of goods through space and time, gives buyers insights into where their products are coming from. And then you have things like social tech, social media, which is where people can connect and share their stories, and putting them those organic advertisements in. and those are, I think, things that people are really familiar with. And now there's even additional to that. I would consider it maybe bleeding edge technology, for lack of a better term. But you have my favorite, the blockchain, which is these blocks of unfungible data, which are the rails for cryptocurrencies, and which will completely reimagine how the global financial landscape looks like and how payments are handled. And then things like NFTs, which people think of as fun little doodles on computers. But in my opinion, it is a global proof of ownership, which has immense power. And again, I think that will change how coffee is traded. And then you have the big one that is constantly mentioned, which is AI. And AI, for better or worse, it will improve efficiencies. People may lose their work, but new work opportunities may appear. But with AI, I can take a cup of green coffee, a little puck of it, put it in a machine, does spectral analysis, and it tells me the grade pretty accurately. And maybe in commercial or more traditional coffee applications, it's a boost. And on another note, I think that AI, it opens up opportunities, and I think a lot of certification bodies should beware. I think it opens up opportunities to get rid of them. and have farmers self-verifying their own data to create schemes where we incentivize rather than detract and create negative feedback loops, but incentivize farmers to work in a particular way, whether it be towards sustainability, whether it be towards diversification, whether it be towards regenerative ag. I think there's a real power in using AI to move, to get rid of all these certifications and move forward. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Someone's messaging me, move forward with farmers. My wife. Is your interview done? Is your bottom? No. But moving farmers in a particular direction and creating incentivizations to get there, which I think would be powerful for the coffee industry. And that's how I see the different types of technology.
Let me ask you.
In my opinion, I'll go ahead. Before I keep going on.
Well, just on that, all of those things that you've just mentioned, a lot of people are going to look at that and say, but yeah, that's down the road. Folks, let me tell you how not down the road this is. We accept payment for all of our services now in crypto. Map it forward, you can pay us in either Bitcoin, Ethereum, or XRP.
Love it.
Right? Like, that's how not down the road this is. And that's just a relatively new thing that we've done, because I have looked at what's going on with the blockchain. I'm looking at what's going on in the global economy. And I also look at the people who do business in our industry. And we need variety. We need to start moving with regards to this technology. When you look at the things that have worked and the things that have failed with regards to crypto, you look at El Salvador making it a part of their national currency, trying to force coffee farmers to have a Bitcoin wallet. Now, that didn't gel at that time, right? It didn't work. They all thought it was ridiculous. But I think we are in a different landscape, and that was just a few years ago. Now, people are looking at the global financial system and saying, I don't know that this shit's going to survive. We need to figure out something else. And the role that technology is going to play is going to be dependent on how well the stakeholders, whether it's the farmer or it's the buyer, how well they're going to be attuned to the technology that's available. And if you can get attuned to the technology, these direct relationships can move much, much quicker. Right, Matthew? Do you agree with that? Do you disagree with it?
I agree that it needs to be on people's radar, at least. I do think things like the blockchain and crypto, as much as I am a big proponent of it, the scary thing about it is like it's so definite. Like what happens is permanent. And I just get worried about farmers. There's scammers out there. I get worried about farmers getting taken advantage of.
Being taken advantage of.
Really.
Right.
Yeah, people like, imagine if you send like an entire harvest worth of cash, someone gets into your wallet because it wasn't secured and it's gone. You just lost an entire season. That's a permanence that scares me, without a few more guardrails. But it needs to be on people's radar, and you need to be, I would say, preparing for it, starting to bake it into your business, your operations, because it's coming, and it's not going to stop. It will be. And I think...
So, go ahead, please.
I was just going to say, overall, it should be embraced too, because I see technology being an equalizer in the supply chain, not just for farmers, but for buyers as well. It facilitates information. It allows you to communicate. It does all of these things that we've wanted for so long. It really can become an equalizer in the industry, allowing to maybe, if you're a buyer, it might, if you're a buyer or a farmer, it may allow you to like bat out of your league a bit. start doing more. And that's exciting. And it should be seen as exciting with caution, optimistic caution. Don't want to push anyone too far in a direction.
And we keep touting this idea of transparency and traceability, et cetera, in this industry, but it's all still done through wizardry and fuckery. The moment that it is on the blockchain, you cannot fuck with it, right? And that's a lot of the time what people are worried about is I want the appearance of transparency without having the accountability of transparency and having to be accountable to the integrity of my data. This is why I'm always going on about data integrity. If you're telling me that you have transparency, okay, show me. I'll show me mine if you show me yours. And I guarantee you 99% of the time, they don't really want to show you the full details behind their impact report, or they don't want to show you the full details about all of the stuff that they're touting because it's all smoke and mirrors. Right? And this is where I'm excited about the role that technology is going to play in this, because it's really, once it's adopted and the people who aren't pretending do adopt some of this stuff, it's going to accelerate very quickly. And consumers will want to know that the very high prices that they're going to be paying for a cup of coffee are not doing any harm. Whether it's commercial grade coffee or it's specialty grade coffee, the consumer's starting to get concerned. Why am I spending $11 on a cup of coffee? And that's what an iced latte, 11 American dollars, is what you're spending on an iced latte here in Dubai. Let's be very clear on that.
I'm complaining about 100 birr cup of Jebena coffee here in Ethiopia. $11, wow.
I nearly lost my mind yesterday when I was at a cafe and they were trying to charge $11. Not trying, it's the standard price. And everyone around had an iced latte on their table. I'm like, what are we doing? 11 American dollars.
Yeah.
Eventually, like when you're looking at the prices that specialty cafes are charging in America even and in Australia, consumers are saying, wait, what? How come 3-4 years ago you were able to charge me this specific price and now we're more than double what that was? What's happening? If you can actually start to demonstrate what's going on and why you're having to pay that and show people what's going on, that's integrity. That's verified integrity. And that's what the blockchain offers you.
Yeah, it does. In very rare circumstances, can you reverse the blockchain? I think it's only happened like once with Ethereum, maybe a couple of times, but really it's impossible. I think one of like the core problems we have in coffee, and especially in America, is it's always seen as this cheap commodity. It shouldn't be, because they're keeping people in poverty. And I think what you're saying is very valid. Like, to change their minds, you need to come up with data to show and demonstrate why people need to pay more for this. And if you do that, I think they're much more willing to. Okay, this makes sense. You justified it. I can do it. And I think blockchain is a way to get there. But be warned, people. I do think it's important for the audience to know, like, the blockchain is only as valuable as its distributed ledger. Like, the blockchain works because it's a public ledger, and there's multiple people around the world maintaining the same ledger, which makes it really hard to hack and change. And if there's a blockchain technology out there and they're claiming to be blockchain, and it's only them maintaining their own ledger, that's not a very strong blockchain.
We go back to data integrity, right? Yeah. If I'm telling you that this is a tasty coffee, and I'm also the person who's verifying that this is a tasty coffee, and there's nobody else that's coming in to QC that to say it's a tasty coffee, I could tell you whatever the fuck I want, and nobody's verifying what my claims are. So this is why the blockchain can be a very powerful tool for our industry. I'm really interested to hear what you've got to say about AI, because my whole business has got AI all over it. So I'm really keen to understand how AI is going to be able to help coffee producers.
Well, we've actually been looking into this and we haven't developed it yet. But I think AI has the potential, again, to allow farmers to collect their own data, in a structured format so it can be verified.
Mhm.
But then you can use AI to decentralize all of this data collection that I would say a lot of these certification companies charge a fortune for and exclude the vast majority of our industry from. If you can decentralize data collection and have AI analyze verified photos and overlay it with satellite imagery and maybe some other data that's being collected, you can really scale down the costs of verifying
So this
specific
is like
practices.
EUDR.
Yeah, I mean, it's already being
Okay.
used for EU Junior for sure. But let's take it a step further. Can we create, we there's an importance in like regenerative agriculture, maintaining
Right.
soils, and fighting climate change. ROC, regenerative organic certification, is expensive and it's super difficult. And it's one of these like zero sum things. It's like you do it all or you get none of it. Why can't we use AI and create a system that's cheaper and more accessible to producers? And why can't it be more of an incentivization scheme? Okay, you're not doing all of it the first year, but you're doing 25% of it or 10% of it. We can
Right.
maybe give you some kind of an incentive or an incentive of some sort to continue down that path. To like this year's 10%, next year's 15%,
Mhm.
20%. But get them on a path that is moving in a particular direction, that moves the entire industry in a particular direction. Instead of sitting here saying like, yeah, great, you did 99 of the 100 points, but it ain't good enough. Sorry, you don't get any of it. Although you
Right.
made this massive investment, it makes that investment easier to breaks it down into little easier chunks to
Mm.
bite. Uh, I think that's where it has to go. I think that's where AI could be really helpful. And we're also looking at like pocket AI friend for producers and local languages, where
Nice.
maybe I don't know everything about processing and farming, but hey, I got this little guy in my pocket, can ask, and create these really specific models that are trained on really specific data from around the world that are geared towards a farmer's particular elevation. If we have maps, we can get their soil types, we can get their forest structure types, we can get weather patterns and start laying all this data on top of really hard scientific evidence to give people really keen, like really specific data to get them what they need. They may know 90% of it, but maybe that little 10% they need a little help on. You got a pocket pal to help you out.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. You know, the part of technology that I think is really valuable at this point of the industry taking a new look at direct relationships is the way that technology helps with communication. So, technology, not just like social media, but things like WhatsApp and Telegram and the role that they're playing in connecting the world. When I started in coffee 20 plus years ago, the way that people were communicating with farmers was through fax machines. Yes, I'm dating myself, but okay, get over it. But right now, everything, you've got layers to that communication, right? Farmers are building amazing content for social media. They're putting it out there. They're building marketing strategies around it. They're bringing people into their farms through social media. And then if you want to get involved with them, you connect with them directly. You can have video calls. You can do whatever you really need to do. And people then can use AI to do research on whatever they need to with regards to that farmer, figure out if there's anything, they're using ChatGPT, you can find out if there's any conversation that's gone on about that farmer or about that roaster, or like the depths of the communication technology has really changed the game for direct relationships moving from the last few years.
Yeah. And I think an important thing with AI is like that analytical capacity is really impressive. Like
Yeah.
you can give it like random assortments of data in any form. It could be like a conversation like we're having. Could you imagine how much time it would take to go through this conversation and boil out key pieces of information that you're interested in.
Mhm.
Imagine people collecting data on their farms that might be structured in a similar way, or their businesses. AI can take all of this kind of scattered data, analyze it in a meaningful way, and spit out like easy to interpret results to. And that's really powerful. Um, yeah,
What do you think is
many
going?
people think is coming.
It's, in my opinion, it's here. People just
It's
haven't figured out that the impact that it's going to have. If
Mm.
like I look at the role that currency is playing in the complexity of our industry right now. I look at like what's happening between currency exchanges with regards to the USD and the Brazilian real. I look at what's happening with Ethiopia and the birr. I look at a lot of the volatility that's around that and the role that different stable coins can have, whether it's Bitcoin or whether it's Ethereum, and, you know, being able to trade. Like it's difficult for people who want to do business in Ethiopia and don't necessarily have the USD. Perhaps, you know, crypto can help with that, whatever, right? What my question for you is, what do you think, given the depth of the different forms of technology that we've talked about, whether it's crypto, blockchain, communication tech, AI, whatever, what do you think is the number one tech that has the greatest capacity to shift our industry moving forward? For those who are just listening,
It's a
his
deep
silence
question.
is him like falling back in his chair going, why would she ask me this question? Because there's like 2 hours worth of answer that I need to give there. But like in general, what's
Can
the
I
first
break it
one?
down to two?
Sure.
I mean, AI for sure. AI has
Mhm.
actually, you know what? I can probably put this into one. I think there's a space where AI and blockchain can work.
Mm.
And when I say blockchain, it's not just the data, it's the financial aspect of blockchain that really has power in our industry, right? Actually, in the world. I mean, money is power. Boil it down, money is power. And if we can democratize money, and the beautiful thing about crypto is you can assign value towards your money. You can organize communities to move in agreed upon direction just through money and assigning value to it. And AI has this ability to take all of this erroneous data and get it on the blockchain in a way that's feasible, in a way that's maybe human compatible, where we can see it. And we can really shift the entire industry in directions that we agree upon. I think there's problems where, you know, these colonial structures are still in place, where there may be too much power on one end of, you know, this of these opinions, and it may not shift the industry in a direction that represents all. But if it's developed thoughtfully and with everyone, not just, or it's not just in consideration of people, it's actually with people. We can do that now, but working together to move the industry how we want. And AI and blockchain, I guess crypto on blockchain rails, I think is just so much potential. It's kind of mind blowing. And it would have to have a whole nother discussion.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think what's going to be very interesting is, as I've done this podcast over the last almost 9 years, what I have come to realize is that this is one of the shadiest fucking industries in the world. Hands down.
Yeah.
And that's saying something, right? Something like the
Coffee or
blockchain.
crypto?
No, coffee. Coffee
Oh,
is
okay.
the shadiest and that's saying something next to crypto, let me tell you.
Yeah.
When I'm saying that coffee is shadier than crypto, we've got a problem, folks, right? And the thing that I think that we all need to pay attention to is the fact that who are the structures that feel threatened by the kind of transparency that we're talking about and the kind of accountability that we're talking about. Because this is such a shady industry, they do not want accountability. That should tell you everything. And I'm not saying that we need to print names and tell everyone how much a farmer is getting paid. No, the blockchain can be anonymized. What is important, though, is for things to be able to be tracked and traced. And that's what people don't want. Because right now they've got layers of fuckery built into layers of other fuckery. So I'm excited when we make that a little bit harder for the shady actors, whether it's the certification bodies or whether it's the exporters or the importers or the farmers or the buyers or whoever it is. There's shady shit going on everywhere. And that's leading to the people who want to actually do good business. It's a problem for them. Anyway, we have one episode to go. Join us for that, where we're going to talk about the role that responsible direct trade coffee is going to play in reimagining the future of coffee supply chains. Join us for the final episode. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. This episode is part of a 5-part series produced by Mapper Forward. Check the full playlist and guest details in the show notes, as well as how you can support our work in the coffee industry. Become a premium YouTube subscriber, explore our Patreon and any brands we've partnered with to bring you this podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us grow our audience.